जब तक है संसार अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। सुना भरत ने हुआ राम को जैसे ही वनवास, दौड़े दौड़े पहुँच गए वो वन में राम के पास। राम के बदले न था भरत को राजपाट स्वीकार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Human existence is only for the purpose of gaining happiness. Everybody accepts that. Then, and what is the grounds on which we accept this reasoning?
Because every action boils down to gaining happiness.
Every action done by every being at all times is only for the purpose of gaining happiness. So, since this is true for all people, for all beings, for all times, we assume that the purpose of existence is happiness. Now, that's fine. We all want to be happy. I don't think anybody has any debate on that. The problem is this pursuit of happiness doesn't seem to work. There are many people who are unhappy. There are many people who are happy. There are many people who are in between. But there is nobody who is fully and completely happy and will be so forever. There's nobody like that. So if the purpose was happiness, then where's the it doesn't seem to all gel. Everything you do for happiness, and yet happiness is elusive. It doesn't seem to gel. This thing is known as the paradox of hedonism. Okay, that though everything is for pleasure, this pleasure doesn't seem to be available. How is that? Why is that? So that is what we are going to do. We already did, right? We already did ultimate and infinite happiness. What is a human being heir to? Ultimate and infinite happiness. So, okay, we are all supposed to be ultimately and infinitely happy, but who is this person who has it? So therefore, we come to what is it? What is happening? So if we went to ultimate and infinite pleasure, what do we find? We find that when desires come to zero, that's what you get. Now, we don't know whether this statement is true or false. Okay, you can't say that when desires come to zero, what exactly will happen? Nobody can say that. Why not? Why can't we say when zero desires come to zero, we don't know what will happen?
Because the human mind cannot grasp.
Very good. Because now this is switch states of consciousness. So from here, nobody can tell you. You'll say, okay, why can't he tell me from there? Why can't he tell you from there?
You cannot talk about the unconditioned from the conditioned. It's different states. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no communication between the two. What is he going to tell you? How is he going to tell you? He can't tell you. This is the whole problem. So here we cannot tell, and those who've got it cannot tell us. So how are we going to establish it? So they have told us various things. They've indicated it to us in various ways. If you look at them properly, you'll find all these indications are sort of leading to one thing. They're all, different angles of one thing. So we feel that probably this is where this is headed. Now, in all of this understanding of it will also help us to understand this paradox of hedonism, which is supposed to be a big problem in philosophy, by the way. So let us see if we get a satisfactory answer. Right. The paradox of hedonism. Incidentally, with this understanding means all that we've done in the chapter so far. We could attempt to resolve the famous paradox of hedonism. Hedonism is the worldview that believes that life is inherently the pursuit of pleasure. The ultimate good is the ultimate pleasure. The paradox of hedonism is the difficulty of obtaining this hankered for pleasure. Pursuing happiness does not appear to yield it. We seem to fail attaining pleasures when we deliberately pursue them. This has been noted by many thinkers. Soren Kierkegaard in Either or. Most men pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that they hurry past it. William Bennett. Happiness is like a cat. If you try to coax it or call it, it will avoid you. It will never come. But if you pay no attention to it and go about your business, you'll find it rubbing against your legs and jumping into your lap. Now you see what's happening when you chase it, you don't get it, which is a weird thing. Because in everything else, you have to chase it to get it, right? But in happiness, apparently you can't do that. That everyone does everything only for pleasure is certain. The best to the worst do nothing else. Of course, people use varied means. As Edward Young notes, everyone is seeking pleasure, but they're doing it through different ways. As Edward Young notes, the love of praise, however concealed by art. But this is, by the way, a poem. I don't know why it's written as if it's poetry. I don't know why it's come across as prose in this. The love of praise, however concealed by art, reigns more or less supreme in every heart. The proud to gain it, toils on toils endure. The modest shun it, but to make it sure. The love of praise, however concealed by art. That means we all love to be praised, and sometimes we conceal it by art. That means we put on pretenses that we don't really want it. Reigns more or less supreme in every heart. In fact, it's one of the most difficult things for a human being to get over. You may get over the desire for money and the desire for good looks and the good desire for relationships and so many things you may get over. But the desire for praise stays with us for a long, long time. That is why, Shakespeare also says that he who steals my purse steals trash. But he who filches of me my good name does not do anything that benefits him, but makes me poor indeed. He who filches my purse steals trash. So the love of praise, however concealed by art, by your sophistication, however much you may show that, no, I'm not looking for any praise, reigns more or less supreme in every heart. Everybody wants it. The proud to gain it, toils on toils endure. You know what all people put up with because they just want praise? Like what degree of tapas is involved? To just keep up your good reputation. Everybody thinks you're a good person. So what all you have to do so that everybody continues to think about it? It's one of the biggest dangers in the spiritual path as well. Many, many spiritual people fall for this thing. That toils on toils endure. That to have that good name, to not let anything happen to your reputation. The modest shun it, but to make it sure. Shun it means they say, no, I don't want it. But why are they saying that? Because they want to ensure that it will stay. So it's not, nobody, basically what he's trying to say is different types of people do different things. All of it is to gain this pleasure of good name. As discussed earlier, when we seek objects to enjoy, we find they lose their joy content quickly. This we covered already. Either the pleasure itself depletes or the contact gives rise to other complications. So either the pleasure goes away or the object goes away. One of these two things have to happen. The same holds for the joy content of emotions and knowledge. With sense objects, it's easier to understand than with emotions and knowledge. The pursuit of emotions and relationships as a means of happiness is similarly fraught with dangers. You see, what is happening in our society today is that most people have reached a certain level of wealth by which whatever their sense pleasures are, they can very easily obtain. So now society on the whole, at least in this segment of society, has turned its attention to relationships. In LinkedIn, not everywhere you'll have this. Your job won't help you when you're sick. Your family will, things like that. They turn their attention. Why? Because all these things are not giving them joy. Now they turn to relationship. Your wife is the most important person. Your children are the most important person. They will be with you when everybody, your work is not with you. Please, are you mad? Are you really mad if you think so? You think they'll really be with you? Firstly, lose all your money and see how many people are with you, for starters. Then secondly, really children with you? What are you talking about? Don't they have their own life? It is not only unreasonable, it is downright mean to expect your children to be with you. Because don't they have a life to lead? Why should they hold on to you? What is that Khalil Gibran says? Life tarries not with yesterday. You cannot stay behind. You have to let them go and sort of live their lives and flower in their way. No, my beta, my bitty, my this, my that. You stifle the poor child. So it's completely the conceptually it is incorrect. So when you are in the pursuit of emotions like that, now why is society all in the pursuit of emotions? The senses are okay, chalo, we are financially more or less everyone sort of okay. Now emotions. Then they'll get fed up with emotions. Then they will go to knowledge. Same thing will happen everywhere. Because that entire pursuit, there's something wrong in that pursuit itself. The same holds for the joy content of emotions and knowledge. The pursuit of emotions and relationships as a means of happiness is similarly fraught with danger. The same thing that happened with sense pleasures will happen with emotions. It just takes a little longer, that's all, for the results to show up. Though all are in breathless pursuit of love, none seem to catch it. Oh, love me, love me. Everybody is chasing everybody, love me, love me. But who is feeling that contentment of love? Hollywood and Bollywood have made their millions in cashing on this human need. Their depictions of love provide a catharsis. Catharsis means you don't have by weeping and sobbing and loving with that person, whoever you're seeing on screen, you get an emotional release, as it were. Your emotions come to the surface. Living through the characters, the audience finds a release for their ardent desires. That's why we need films and TV serials. We feel with the actor, go through his, her joys and sorrows, feel and undergo all he does. This corresponds with the joys and sorrows, needs and aspirations that we have suppressed. These feelings manifest themselves and gain completion, catharsis. They are vicarious emotions. The same catharsis can be found in a physiotherapist's clinic. Feelings which are normally unexpressed are brought to expression. So if it's sunk even deeper, then you will need to go to not physiotherapist, but psychotherapist. So people who are emotionally well fulfilled don't have any craving to see movies and all that. There's nothing. I mean, it's not that they don't see it and there's some rule you shouldn't see a movie. There's no such thing. But that craving to see it doesn't exist anymore. At the intellectual level, too, we find no answers. Every pursuit only leads to more questions, leaving the seeker of knowledge continuing with the same lacuna in knowing. Though the pursuit of knowledge has caused an information explosion, people have not blossomed with wisdom and peace. Confusion, anarchy, indecision, and short sightedness reign supreme. Have you ever thought about this? A long time ago, we were of the belief and opinion that if knowledge was freely available to everybody, then our society would be so great. The amount of knowledge available to everybody today. I read the figure, which I have now forgotten, how many Indians have a phone, a smartphone with access to the internet. That means, so if information was so, not only that, Harvard and Wharton and all these wonderful colleges give you free courses. People are doing those courses. Coursera, all these people are giving you free courses. The amount of knowledge, information available to all of us today. So, how many of us are wiser today? Can you believe that there are wars going on? I mean, it's amazing to me that there are wars going on. With all the information at your disposal, you cannot find out that war is not the way to go about doing things. What do you say? Terrorism is going on. Families are fighting with each other. People are confused. They don't know what to do, where to go. Why? Why, with so much information, is this there? People well fortified with degrees show no greater aptitude towards happiness or common sense? Can you say that this person has a PhD? So he's like really smart, real common sense, completely peaceful, or even somewhat peaceful. Can you make any of these statements? Deepraj can tell us. He's hanging around now with all the fellows who've got PhDs.
Yeah.
You know?
99% of them are frustrated.
So what did your PhD do for you? So we are trying to do a course, 1 year PG diploma. You'll know about that. Hopefully by September we will start. I don't know. Lots of things have to happen for that to happen. But if all goes well, then. And we hope at least there we will not do all this nonsense that's going on. That whatever a student learns there, he lives it. You know, when we were designing the course, we are affiliating with the university to do this course. So the big question is, when is your exam going to be held? And the whole pedagogy over there is very different. So you study a sort of a subject for a month. The whole month you study that subject. And then the theory was we should have the exam for that immediately after that month, so that they will remember what they have studied. I said that's the very thing we are trying not to do. They should have the exam as far away as possible. Whatever they learned there, 25 years later also they should be able to say what they have learned. Otherwise, what is the use of learning? What is the use? I know what I did in college and school. I assume you all have done the same thing. Very bad we were. We studied the previous night. We memorized everything at top speed. Next morning, we vomited out on the paper. And as soon as the paper is over, you've forgotten what this subject was about. Didn't we all do this? We are going to change this. This is not going to happen. The best years of a student's life, where you could have, enhanced the potential of the human being, you have made him develop short-term memory. Now we can remember, what is that, OTP numbers and quickly type them in. This is what your education did. How futile and useless is that? So, knowledge as a pursuit of information. What a foolish thing it is. What a foolish thing. You don't remember it, you cannot use it, you don't know what to do with it. And you continue to be a confused person. You don't know what on earth is happening here. What is the point of this knowledge? You know, what is knowledge represented as? What is knowledge usually represented as? What is the one representation, most common representation of knowledge?
Light.
Light. Is any of our information giving us the light or sending us into greater darkness? Yeah, haven't you noticed? All the time you represent knowledge with light, because this is world, we're living in this ignorance. And then it's the darkness of ignorance and the light of knowledge. बोलने की सब चीजें. Isn't it? What light of knowledge? How has it helped? So, just the fact that you have this information doesn't seem to do us any good. From remembering that information to be able to apply it. Engineers, I believe, okay, I'm not into that field, but this is what I'm told by people who hire them, are absolutely useless at doing any job that they're supposed to be doing. Engineers. God alone knows what doctors are doing. Good luck to all the youngsters who have to go to them. If you have reservation in medicine, tuition in medicine, you pass a medical exam with tuition. Okay, meet the patient and then see what happens to you and the patient both. How many people are going to die, because of this? So, information is not going to solve our problems. We need something else. Confusion, anarchy, indecision, and short sightedness reign supreme. People well fortified with degrees show no greater aptitude towards happiness or common sense. Pursuing knowledge, it seems, does not unfold happiness either. It is so tragic to write a line like this. I mean, what? Our whole life we do this pursuit of knowledge. And pursuit of knowledge is not going to do it, then what on earth is going to do it? When we chase gratification, physical, mental, or intellectual, as a direct means of pleasure, we are foiled in the attempt. But when the pursuit is of the higher, happiness follows. So that's what he said. Nice, like a cat, you ignore this and you pursue the higher. Happiness follows you. Ramatirtha gives another very beautiful example. He says that if you go running after your shadow, it will always be ahead of you, you'll never catch it. But walk towards the sun, your shadow will follow you. If one pursues self realization, one gains absolute pleasure. When we work for that higher ideal in life, this whole switch turns. It's a 180-degree turn. Then you find out, thus, ultimate good is ultimate pleasure, and vice versa. It's an amazing thing when you finally reach that conclusion. The better you are, the more pleasure you have. If you can make yourself into that person who is a fine, pure person, you need not chase happiness. Happiness will chase you. Remember that Doha of Kabir? Anyone remembers it? Kabira man nirmal bhayo, jaise ganga neer. Piche piche hari fire, kahat Kabir Kabir. He says, oh Kabira, make your mind pure. The people are all chasing God. So Kabira says, Kabira man nirmal bhayo, make your mind pure. Jaise Ganga neer, like the waters of the Ganges. Piche piche hari fire, कहत Kabir Kabir. So Hari will run behind you saying, oh Kabir, wait for me, wait for me. All the great sages, all the people who know the truths tell us this repeatedly. Make yourself a better person. That's your only job in this world. There's no other job. And then that famous line, make yourself an honest person, and you can be sure there's one less scoundrel in this world. Your only job is self-purification. Your only job is self-realization. Work towards that. Everything else is going to be added on to you. Don't worry about it. Yes, Komal?
Yeah, Hari Om Janki ji. My question is like in good olden days, people first used to be working on purifying themselves, and then only the guru used to give that knowledge. But nowadays, it is readily available to each and every person. Sitting at home, going to ashrams, everywhere it is available to all kind of people. Then how is it going to work? So there has to be some barrier to people, those who can study this or those who should first purify and then come here. Working on purification is the first step, but nobody is working. Maybe some are working, but most of the time it is not being done. Then where is the fault and how to rectify that fault in now?
Well, you can't stop people from coming to the knowledge, because how will they find out? They have to purify themselves. So they have to come. Then hopefully when they come to the knowledge, somebody tells them that knowledge is nothing but self-purification. The more you know, the more purified you are. If you just don't know it, how will you purify yourself?
So it's vice versa. Either way, when you go to knowledge, purification will happen. Or it's not like that, that first you purify yourself and then see the knowledge, seek the
Both are
knowledge.
true. Both are true.
Both go side by side.
When you go to knowledge, knowledge will tell you need to purify yourself.
But
When
how
you purify,
is it
so listen,
told?
listen. Question is clear. Let the answer be clear. When you go to knowledge, knowledge will tell you have to purify yourself. When you purify yourself, what the knowledge was saying will start becoming clearer. When it becomes clearer, it actually lights your path. And then you become a happier person. Then you have to repeat this whole story and go on repeating it and spiral your way upwards. You come to knowledge, knowledge tells you have to purify yourself. When you purify yourself, you begin to understand the knowledge. You never understood it all this time. You understand it only later on. Once you understand it, you become clear in life, and therefore you become a happy person. Now, when you reach this state, you have to repeat this whole process and repeat and repeat and repeat so that you spiral upwards. But most people, once they reach that first level of happiness, they say, "Ab theek hai, ab ho gaya, ab mujhe sab pata hai." Then
That
they
is
will,
wrong.
yeah, because then what? Dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. Jo sukh mein sumiran kare, dukh kahe ko. They keep
It
on
has
going
to be
on
till
going
the
on.
end. Keep
Mhm.
on doing it. But are there any spiritual practices one need to follow to purify?
Yes, of course. Karma bhakti and jnana.
Uh,
So what is the unselfish work? What is the devotion? And what is the knowledge? That is a standard sadhana, no?
So for that, um, to follow those practices, the guru needs to tell you ki where you are and where you need to reach, and what should you do, particularly in karma and bhakti and jnana.
Guru means
There
knowledge
has to be
also.
somebody who will explain step by step.
Oh, it could be Guru means knowledge. The knowledge will tell you. So whether you study it yourself or somebody gives you an instruction, the knowledge only has to do this job.
There must be some steps to gain that knowledge, like ye pehle, फिर ये, or any time, anything, any knowledge you can get into. Like there is a whole lot of knowledge. There are Upanishads, there are Brahma Sutras, there is Bhagavad Gita, like scripture, there is Bible and Quran and all sorts of scriptures are there. So where to start and how to go step by step, that needs to be guided.
Yeah, if somebody wants that, but here it is clear, right? Here everybody should be doing first their Vedanta foundation course. I mean, it's everybody knows that that's what they should be doing. How many people are doing it? What is the use of? There's no point saying it, right? Because only when there's a question can there be an answer.
Right.
So here our system is very clear. Everybody has to do Vedanta foundation course. Then they have to attend online classes. Then they have to attend some real world events. Then hopefully they have to attend a 1 year full-time residential course. We have a system who's following that system. So there will be, as you go through the process, there'll be many at the lowest level, and then there'll be few more dedicated, more dedicated. It's a pyramid of life. Those who are really at the top of the pyramid will always be very few. So don't worry about that. We only have to worry about what have I to do next. And do take that one step. We have already discussed, you know the 2 steps for you. Good. You
Right.
take them.
Thank you.
Right? So when we chase gratification, physical, mental, or intellectual, as a direct means of pleasure, that means you're chasing physical or mental or intellectual. It's directly you go there. We are foiled in the attempt. That attempt won't work. But when the pursuit is of the higher, happiness follows. People say, no, all this you say in spiritual life, the material people are very happy. But do you realize how unselfish materialistic people are? Sometimes they're way more unselfish than we are. You know why? Suppose you want to make a sales call. Okay? Now you read any book on sales. Many years ago, I had read this book called How to Make Friends and Influence People. Okay, I think everybody's read that book at some point or the other. Now, what I remember at least, what is the central message of that book? That put yourself in the other person's place, be interested in the other person, see what that person wants. Everybody loves so and so because he loves so and everybody. Constantly. So, if you want to be a good salesman, what are you forced to do? You're forced to be unselfish. If you want to even be a smuggler, you're forced to be unselfish. Even a criminal has to actually work with people. Think about it, all these terrorists and all, criminal activity. But what amount of cooperative endeavor goes on amongst them? Isn't it? Think in the corporate world, how much they have to work together. They may hate each other, but they have to work together. They may hate the job, but they have to do it. They don't make money just like that. So it is not that we are, talking some big things and in the actual world it's not like that. Anybody who succeeded has had to be unselfish. Otherwise, it's simply not possible. Just think about it. If you want to sell a product, you have to know what your customer wants to buy, right? Even if they hate the product they are making, they'll make it because customer wants it. So all along, if you have to become successful at anything, you have to have cooperative endeavor. It is impossible otherwise. You got to figure out what is it he wants or she wants. How do you make your relationships work? You got to figure out what the other person wants. Unselfishness is not a theory. It is like anytime you've been successful in life, see what you have done. You have been able to accommodate the interests of others. And those who can't do it, they fail. There are many people who are very good actually at what they do. But for some reason or the other, they don't become successful. Why not? Because you have to know how to work with people. Now, this very common example, I think we've got it somewhere in the book, is of an artist. An artist may be very good at their art. Now, if this artist cannot figure out that the only way my art is going to work is if I link up with somebody who understands business, marketing, that's the only way. Then, unless I'm able to do that, so many wonderful artists, no understanding of the practicality of it. You can't do it. Momita, that sounds like manipulation, not unselfishness. Yes, you're right. It is done for a selfish purpose. But the only way they can be successful is if they're working with those people. Otherwise, they can't be. It's impossible.
But we started by saying that we can say that materialistic people are happier sometimes. And then we said that they are unselfish in these ways. Therefore, they are happy.
They're happy in the sense they are able to fulfill their desires. No? So as far as that bit is concerned, happier not in that sense of being very calm individuals, but they accomplish what they are trying to do, and in that sense they are happy that has been accomplished. But anytime anybody has accomplished something, it's because they can work with people. See, politicians also, that they heard Nitin Gadkari. he was saying very, I thought very practically. He says, I'm not interested ki you are a good person, bad person, corrupt person, what. We see only one thing. Are you going to get the votes? Okay? He's so objective and so matter of fact about it. Because that is what they need. They're never going to be in the ruling party, right? If they keep all the wonderful people with them who can't get a single vote, party will fail. So who are these people who can get a vote? Who can cater to whatever these people want out of them? So that's the only way it works. Is if by whatever you're doing, somebody else is benefiting.
But
You're
when
right,
we
it is manipulation. I'm not denying that. Of course, it's a completely selfish activity. But the point here is even in achievement of selfish goals, look how much cooperative endeavor is required. That's the point.
But then they can't be happy through that, can they?
I'm
Because
not happy. I'm not happy in that sense. They're happy in the sense that they've achieved whatever it is they set out to achieve.
okay.
In that limited sense. So it's not trying to, I'm not recommending you do all this stuff that these people are doing. Just trying to show you that in any kind of success, that cooperative endeavor has to be there. Otherwise, it just won't happen. Yeah, Gunjan, please, I hope you all are getting it. I'm glad Mobita brought it up and that it's clear that this is not recommended activity. This is just that in the most selfish, even in criminal activity, there has to be cooperative endeavor for them to succeed. Like imagine the terrorists, what kind of planning they put in. And then they have handlers over there. That's like being on a space mission. The handler is telling you what to do exactly in the space mission. Houston is telling these guys what to do up there, and they're all working very cooperatively. I hope you all are understanding this carefully. Otherwise, you will think I'm recommending terrorism. Not. I'm just trying to show anything you're trying to accomplish. You have to work together. And if you can't do that, you can't be successful in the worst of things and in the best of things. In the worst of things, you're doing it as a temporary measure. Even when you're robbing a bank, you see these movies where they're robbing a bank or something, and each one has got a role, and that role has to all fit very well together, and they can't afford to double cross each other. And when they do, what happens? All that stories you can see. The point is clear, I hope. The point is that even in the most negative activity, if you want to succeed, you will need cooperative endeavor. Please note, these are negative activities, not positive activities. But if you do this for a positive activity and you're able to have cooperative endeavor, you can go anywhere in this world, like literally anywhere. And the most important is the more you are genuinely unselfish, the closer you go to self. I'm not interested in self-realization, then please understand that if you're not self-realized, you cannot be happy. Now don't tell me, no, but I'm happy and I'm not self-realized. That point we have already did, so I'm not going there again. Yes, Gunjan.
Janki, my question is in continuation with Monumita. Yeah.
Mita.
So, sorry. So, like as you said, cooperative endeavor is required to be successful, right? Be it a negative activity or a positive one. So let's say if we take an example of a positive one, for example, there is one artist who makes painting, right? And he expresses himself in those painting. He paints his understanding of that abstract, that higher in his ways, right? Which might not be understandable by most of the people. So where is cooperation here, right? So now let's take the second case where there's a painter who is making painting just for the common public. Maybe those painting will look attractive. Maybe those painting will have bright colors. very, very, uh, aesthetic and all of those things. But those paintings might not uh, give a better expression of the higher of that abstract. So in these two cases, in the first one, where is the cooperation like?
No, there
And
isn't. You have to decide what your goal is. You can decide, I want to become a great painter, full stop. Then you will be a great painter and you may be poverty stricken, right? Or you decide, I want to be a very popular painter, in which case you will have a lot of money, but you will be probably dissatisfied with them. Because you made the money, but now you were not allowed, you can't paint what you want, right? You want to be a popular painter, then you can't simply paint what you want. You have to paint what the public asks for, and that may not be satisfying to you. So you can choose either of these two things. But if you want to be a great painter and also a well known painter and also a popular painter, and I'm just assuming that you have no capacity of marketing or anything like that, then you will have to associate with a person who's capable of that. You know, this, I think, I don't remember who. I think a Louis Vuitton. I can't remember who, but one of these big guys. They were very good at what they were doing. But they really went big time when he associated with this other person, and that person had a good business sense. So this guy had the art and this guy had the business, and they put it together, and now they are Louis Vuitton. But if you have merely the art, you can be great. Nobody's appreciating you, nobody's buying your product. If you have the marketing skills, you will sell because you have that skill. But there's no satisfaction because you wanted money, you sold people what they wanted, and now you have money. So I'm not saying either are wrong. I'm just saying these various scenarios, different things happen. If you cannot cooperate with others, you can't be successful really. You can't be consciously successful. Now, in the world, there's a joker in this pack. Okay, the joker in the pack is that everything is not predictable. It is possible that by some stroke of luck, something happened to you. But if you're actually working at it and you're ensuring that it happens, then you have to follow the laws. Have you heard of Shakespeare's statement? It said, some men are born great, some become great, and some have greatness thrust onto them. I don't know if, let's say, Rajiv Gandhi may be an example of that. Like, yeah, he wanted to be a pilot. It so happened that his brother died. And now that his brother died, he had to do this. It's thrust upon him, really. Now he's a household name. Why? Because thrust upon him. So, but he has not calculated anything. He's just like a. But now, if you want to become PM, then you'll have to have a process. And that process will have to follow the laws. So now you say, no, but that fellow, he was a great painter and he didn't do all that. We're not talking about these strokes of luck because in life, anything can happen.
okay, so for Nobel laureates also, this stroke will they will fall under that. For under that just by chance or something like that, those things happen.
Many people have got it just by chance. They don't know the laws or anything. It just so happens that they were at the right place at the right time and something happened. But if you're going to consciously go about it, then you'll have to follow the laws. You'll have to figure all this out. You'll have to use the knowledge and figure it out. And I hope you all will all use it for positive ends. You can use it for negative ends also, same result. But I hope that with the study, everybody will use it for achieving positive ends. But the law will stay that the only way you're going to succeed is if you can work with people. When the pursuit is of the higher, happiness follows. If one pursues self-realization, one gains absolute pleasure. Thus, ultimate good is ultimate pleasure and vice versa. Western thinkers have also arrived at this truth. John Stuart Mill writes in his autobiography, "But I now thought that this end, one's happiness, was only to be attained by not making it the direct end. Those only are happy, I thought, who have their minds fixed on some object other than their own happiness." Can you say in one word in Vedantic terminology, who have their minds fixed on some object other than their own happiness? Can you tell me one word for this?
Unselfish.
Very good. He's come to the same truth, right? It's an amazing thing. You read the works of authors from anywhere, and you can say, oh my God, he's saying the same thing. Aiming thus at something else, they find happiness along the way. Ask yourself whether you are happy and you cease to be so. Ask yourself whether you are happy and you cease to be so. Why?
Selfish thought.
Your attention has come back to yourself. Isn't it an amazing thing? I mean, these authors are very good because they put it very poetically and nicely. We may be putting it a bit boring and staid, but see how beautifully they've put exactly the same thing. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl, in the book Man's Search for Meaning, he says, happiness cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. So, in bottom line is what has happened. You cannot pursue your own happiness. But happiness will come to you when your mind... Go ahead, Deepraj.
When you focus on something other than yourself.
When you focus on something other than yourself. It could be a cause, it could be a person, it could be an art, anything other than yourself. But as long as that mind stays on itself, it has to be miserable. That is the law. What can I do? So you read Vedanta, you read any book. I suggest you read Vedanta because they are doing it systematically. But anything in the book world will tell, anything that's telling you the truth will tell you the same thing. Is this clear how the paradox of hedonism has been sorted? Oh, Wendy, are you new to class today?
Yes, Jackie G, I'm sorry. I had got my timing mixed up. I'm in the UK.
Yes, I can see your flag. Welcome
It's nice.
to the class. First
Thank
time.
you.
How did you know that this class is there?
Well, I'm always following you on one or other of your YouTube videos, so I thought I'd try and see if I could make it today. I've got a sort of very busy sort of schedule, and but I got the timing mixed up this afternoon, so my apologies.
No problem. Glad you're here. So
Thank you.
Is it clear so far? I mean, I didn't realize there was someone for the first time. So, but you've been hearing, right? So clear, right? Do you have any questions?
No, not at the moment. It is very clear. Thank you.
So what is the paradox of hedonism? That you need, that we all are searching pleasure and we don't get it. So what is the resolution of it? That though we are seeking pleasure and that everything we do is for pleasure, it is not something that you can chase directly. When your mind shifts away from itself to anything higher in life, anything other in life also. I mean, it can't be other in a stupid sense, but anything, like if it's a person, then with devotion. If it's a art, then with devotion. If it's a cause, then with devotion. Okay, I mean, devotion means you're dedicated to that thing. So when you have that, suddenly one day you find out that you're a very happy person. Almost surprised. Oh, what happened here? So search for immediate calmness. And there are two types of people in this world. Ones are searching for happiness in enjoying objects, and the other are searching for happiness in trying to become calm. They say, okay, do breathing, do meditation, go on yoga retreats. Please, I'm not against a yoga retreat or meditation or anything, but that they're chasing it in different ways. Okay, some like disco, and I don't know what dance do they do? Do they do disco anymore? Does it exist? What happens? What do people do now if they want to go to dance? What is it called?
They
Zumba
just call it
classes.
What?
Zumba classes now.
Zumba classes. Okay. What were you saying, Vidushi?
clubbing.
clubbing.
Clubbing. Okay.
Yeah, they call it clubbing
Here
now.
I can see many spiritual discourse also going on. Spiritual discourse.
Spiritual discourse. Okay. Yeah,
That
different.
is also going on a lot.
Yeah, lots. So everybody is chasing the pleasure directly. Even when they go to a spiritual discourse, they're going there for pleasure. Oh, I like
Not
it.
discourse. I'm saying spiritual disco. Like
Spiritual discourse.
just on the tunes of bhajans and mahamantras, they are doing disco like anything. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Not
There's
discourse, it's disco going on.
a
Here,
disco
many
going on.
places. In the name of Kirtan, they're taking drugs and they're doing all sort of, but singing bhajans.
Oh,
And
wow.
just
So different. You can see so many varieties of this, right? So many varieties. It's not one or two. So many people. One more thing you gave me. So there is one lot of going out to enjoy objects. Kya khana hai, kya peena hai, what is there to eat, what is there to drink, what is there to, I don't know what, play games, I don't know, whatever it is they enjoy. Then one lot, no, we don't like all these materialistic things. We like calmness. We like to go to spiritual places. And then third category, which Komal has now told us about, that they want a combination of these two. They want spiritual disco. Okay, very good. So many permutations and combinations of this whole story. But all of them are doing a common thing, which is
Pursuing
chasing
pleasure.
happiness.
Direct.
Focusing on
Chasing.
oneself.
directly pursuing it directly, and that is not going to work. Get that. Some people go and do social work. And they say, oh, man ki shanti milti hai. I feel so peaceful when I do social work. You're directly chasing it. If you ever chase it directly, you will find yourself in trouble. So, are you doing it for happiness? Yes. But do it a little indirectly. Indirectly, in the sense, work for a higher cause. Forget about yourself. And you will just find your life utterly peaceful. Utterly peaceful. You may be failing at everything you do, but you will still be peaceful. Otherwise, Vedanta life must be terrible. No, whole thing is all a failure only. You say, okay, come on, let us start a university. So we need 108 crores. Mile kya? No, failed. Okay, then what? Okay, let's just do phase won 50 crores. मिले क्या? नहीं मिले. Failed. Okay, chalo bhai, let us do just part A of phase 1. 6 crores. Did you get it? No, didn't get it. Okay, forget it. Let us just do prefab houses. So what, did you raise the money for that? No, that also we couldn't do. Everything failure on. Okay, never mind. Let us start a course. Let us just assume that somehow these prefab houses will come up, cottages will come up, and we will do a 1-year full-time residential course. So are people running to us and saying, yeah, great, I want to join, and there's no place for them? No, that also is not going to happen. Which part of this is easy? You start an online class. How many people take interest? So every part of it is difficult. You are between difficult and failure. 40 years of that. And you're okay with it. How can anyone be? They must be insane not to be okay with it. Think about it is if you can just forget about yourself for a bit, even for a little bit of time, and remember the goal, even temporarily, the agitation subsides. It's even temporarily. Many things we will do in life. Some will come out right, some will not come out right. This is the nature of life. Every time if things do well, I become arrogant. And every time they go badly, I go like, I'm so useless. Then my whole life is like I don't know what. Like a popcorn on a hot tawa, jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. Madhouse, no? So, chill. Enjoy the ride. It's a roller coaster. There is no greater enjoyment in life than the study of the subject. The subject is enjoyable, and what it does is enjoyable. Yeah, Momita, sorry, it's 8 o'clock, so I can take it very quickly.
Yeah, just wanted to ask, like, supposing I decide that I can do this devotedly without unselfishly, when I'm stuck with it for years, because it does give me pleasure to. So is that attachment or is that really unselfish?
It will always be a combination because there's no way we can be 100% selfless. Because if we were 100% selfish, then we will be a self-realized soul. But
Then how do, yeah,
what we have to do is keep the selfish quotient down and encourage and build up on the unselfish. There will always be a selfish interest as long as you're not self-realized.
when we said devotedly, like, if we are not, how do we like expand that then?
You have to find something that inspires you, something for which you are willing to sacrifice your likes and dislikes. You discover it, you can't superimpose it. You have to discover it. Like, what is that thing that I will put up with nonsense for that thing?
Yeah, we find that, but then we stick with that only. Then we don't expand beyond that.
Oh, you mean in that sense? Okay, in that sense, attachment, then you have to do it again, like we discussed. No, you have to repeat that process until you spiral up. And at every stage, it will be difficult. Now, you have to start the whole process again. And you must love difficulty because difficulty is what sharpens the personality.
A little more difficult, but in that same field or domain or interest.
Whatever is inspiring. You remember that novel by Wells, I think, where he goes into that time machine and he goes into the future and there are no problems there. And those people are so fragile that even touches them, they fall down and die. Remember that very interesting thing?
Not read it, 1984.
No, he goes well into the future. That is Orwell, no, 1984.
Okay.
There's a book about time. It's called, I think, Time Machine, where he goes to the past and then he goes to the future. And future, all these people are so delicate, well into the future, and then they solve every problem. And there
Brave
is,
New World.
huh?
Brave New World by Huxley.
This is Huxley, na? Brave New World. No, I think this is Wells' Time Machine. You can just see the summary. Very interesting about how they're so fragile, they can't do anything. So difficulty is good for us. We have to be challenging. Okay, so that's it for today. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Brave
Thank you.
Nandi.
Thank you very
Hari Om.
much.
Thank you.
Hari Om Shanti.
Hari. Yeah.
Hari Om.